All right, let's dive into a story that starts with something pretty simple, trying to use some cool new tech, but spirals into this totally baffling, frustrating dead end. It's a wild ride that involves privacy, big tech, and weirdly enough, a Big Mac. So let me start by asking you a question that sounds completely ridiculous because, well, it is. Why on earth would you ever need a government ID just to buy a Big Mac? I mean, seriously, this bizarre scenario is actually the perfect key to unlocking a very real and very frustrating problem happening in the world of AI right now. Okay, so just picture it. You walk up, you try to order the fancy premium Big Mac, and the cashier says, I'm gonna need to see some ID. It's odd, but whatever. You hand over your license. They even use this little scanner thing, and it beeps green. Yep, 100% valid. You think you're good to go, but then the cashier just looks at you and says, sorry, no burger for you. You ask why, and you get crickets, nothing. No reason, no one to talk to. Just a flat no. Now, as you've probably figured out, we're not really talking about fast food here. This exact absurd situation, the confusion, the valid proof, and that unexplained rejection, is precisely what one user, a long-time, top-tier user, says happened to them when they tried to get verified by OpenAI. And this is where it all clicks into place. The premium Big Mac they were trying to get, that was access to OpenAI's advanced AI models. The cashier who wouldn't give them a straight answer, that's OpenAI's platform. That third-party scanner that said everything was okay, that's a real verification service called Persona. And the denied burger, well, that was the user getting completely locked out of the AI tools they depend on for their work. When you look at the actual timeline, it gets even more baffling. On August 8th, the user submits all their documents to Persona. Later that same day, they get an email with a crystal clear subject line, verification successful. You'd think that's it, you're in. But no, when they went to OpenAI, it was like hitting a digital brick wall. Access denied. No reason given, no way to appeal. Just nothing. And we're not talking about a small inconvenience here. The real-world impact was huge and immediate. This user's professional projects, the things they do for a living, were brought to a grinding halt. All of a sudden, this loyal, high-paying customer had to scramble to find competitors just to keep their business running. In an open letter, the user summed up the whole feeling of it perfectly. They wrote, a company that claims to be benefiting humanity shouldn't be treating its users like suspects in a secret trial. Wow, that line just cuts right to the core of it, right? This feeling of being judged by some secret system that you're not even allowed to see. So this whole frustrating experience really boils down to 5 big complaints. First, asking for a government ID felt like a huge, unnecessary invasion of privacy. Second, the decision-making process was a complete black box, totally opaque, which leads to the third and fourth points, zero transparency and absolutely no way to appeal or get a second look. And all of that together, well, it just feels like a completely unfair way to do business. And this is where the story takes a major turn. It goes from being a really bad customer service issue to a potential legal showdown. You see, the user is a resident of California, where OpenAI is also based, and they sent a formal protest, basically arguing that this whole process isn't just frustrating, it might actually be illegal. And they came with receipts. Their protest pointed to a few specific laws. First, the FTC Act, which outlaws unfair business practices. Second, California's big privacy law, the CCPA, which is all about transparency and protecting your data. And third, they raised a really serious flag, the possibility that a secret algorithm could have hidden biases, which could violate civil rights and disability laws. This whole thing brings up a super important concept in privacy law called data minimization. It's actually a pretty simple idea. Companies should only collect the data they absolutely need to get a specific job done, and nothing more. Which begs the question, why on earth is one of your most sensitive documents, your government ID, strictly necessary just to use an AI model? So, faced with this total wall of silence, the user decided to take things to the next level. They didn't just vent on a forum, they took direct action. They drafted a formal letter to OpenAI and laid out 5 specific demands to make things right. The demands were pretty straightforward. Number 1, fix this mistake and give me access right now.
2, tell me and everyone else what the actual criteria are for verification. 3, give people a way to try again. 4, if you deny someone, explain exactly why. And 5, if you can't or won't fix this, then you need to delete my sensitive personal data, just like the law says.
And to make sure they were taken seriously, the user made it clear this wasn't their final move. They stated they were ready to pursue legal action, and on top of that, they were planning to share the whole story, emails, screenshots, everything, publicly on social media. That really put the pressure on OpenAI, creating not just a legal risk, but a potential PR nightmare. So this whole saga leaves us with a huge, critical question that goes way beyond this one user and this one company. As we hand over more and more of the decisions that affect our lives to these automated black box systems, what happens when the computer just says no? And what are our rights when there's no explanation and no one to appeal to? That's a question we're all going to have to figure out, and soon.